Hey everyone, this is Reddit Family Secrets. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to know your thoughts about this story and what you think about the characters and their decisions. Share your thoughts in the comments. Enjoy the story. It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend. I had just finished a long week of work at my high-paying job in the tech industry in California, and I needed to get away. My parents had called me last minute, asking for help around the house while they took a few days to themselves. With a long drive from my apartment to their home in Fresno, I didn't mind. It had been a while since I visited, and I missed my mom's cooking. But what I didn't expect was the disaster that awaited me. I had brought along a piece of equipment that I'd been using for a high-profile job, a customized quadcopter drone that was essential to creating detailed aerial surveys of solar farm sites. The drone wasn't cheap. The entire setup, including the high-tech camera, stabilizing gimbal, and advanced sensor, had cost me a total of $62,000. It wasn't just a toy. It was a crucial piece of equipment that I relied on for my work. I had specifically told my sister, Amy, that the drone was not to be touched. She knew I had a tight deadline coming up and that my livelihood depended on its calibration. I asked her to keep her son, Liam, away from it. Liam, who was 10, was known for being rambunctious and wild. He had a knack for breaking things and never taking responsibility. I couldn't risk him ruining the drone. But of course, Amy didn't take me seriously. It was a Saturday morning when I arrived at my parents' house. The house was just as I remembered it, with the same squeaky front door, the smell of my mom's lavender-scented candles wafting through the air, and the carefully tended rose bushes in the front yard. I could feel a bit of nostalgia settling over me, but I knew I had work to do. I parked my truck in the driveway, unloaded the drone and its accessories from the back, and set up my workstation in the backyard. The weather was perfect, overcast, with no wind, ideal conditions for calibration. I had a critical deadline to meet for an important solar farm project, and I couldn't afford any mistakes. The drone was large, imposing even, with 4 rotors and a complex array of sensors hanging beneath it. The system was delicate, a combination of high-tech hardware that I had carefully curated to handle demanding aerial mapping projects. The camera alone was worth more than most people's cars. But to me, it wasn't just a gadget. It was my livelihood. I set up a table on the patio, laid out my laptop, and connected the telemetry system. I began checking all the components, running diagnostics. It was calming, almost meditative, as the drone hummed to life, the rotors spinning in preparation. The sun was beginning to break through the clouds, casting a soft light on the backyard. Everything was going perfectly. Then I heard a voice. "Hey, what's this?" Amy's voice called out from the back door. I turned to see my sister strolling into the backyard, her 10-year-old son Liam trailing behind her. Amy had that casual, carefree look about her, the one that made her feel like nothing could ever go wrong in her world. She was always the easygoing one, the one who could afford to take life as it came. I didn't look up from the drone. "It's just a drone. Please keep Liam inside. I need to finish setting it up." Amy gave me one of her patented, dismissive smiles, the kind she always wore when she didn't take me seriously. "Relax, Jason. It's just a toy. Liam loves these things. He won't break it." That was it, I thought. She didn't get it. She never did. The anger started building in me, but I suppressed it. "Amy, I'm serious. He's not allowed to touch it. It's expensive, and if anything goes wrong, I'll be responsible for the damage." Amy just laughed, dismissing my concerns with a casual shrug. "You're such a buzzkill. Don't be so dramatic. It's just a toy." Her words stung, but I bit my tongue. The next few minutes felt like slow motion. I continued my work while Amy sat down on the patio, scrolling through her phone. Liam stood by the decorative rock garden, his eyes gleaming with a mischievous look I knew all too well. He was getting closer to the drone, inch by inch. I could already feel the situation getting out of hand. I couldn't just let it go. "Liam," I called, trying to sound firm but not angry. "Go inside, please. I need you to stay away from the equipment." Liam didn't listen. Instead, he crossed his arms and shot me a defiant look. "Can I fly it?" His voice was full of entitlement, as if he were asking to play with a toy and not a $62,000 machine. "No," I replied, blocking his access to the controller. "Go sit down." Liam frowned, his lips pouting. Mom, Jason won't let me play, he whined. Amy didn't even look up from her phone. Come on, Jason, let him have a turn. He's good at video games. It'll be fine. I clenched my jaw. Amy, this isn't a toy. It's a $60,000 industrial instrument. If anything happens to it, there will be serious consequences. Amy rolled her eyes, but finally relented. She called Liam over to her. Come here, baby. Jason's just being uptight. You can have a turn later. I breathed a sigh of relief, but the sense of dread in the pit of my stomach didn't go away. I continued calibrating the drone, checking the GPS lock and the stabilizer settings. The rotors hummed, and the drone slowly lifted into the air, hovering at 20 feet. I was focused entirely on the telemetry data, keeping my attention on the screen. The flight was smooth. I was almost done, and then I heard it, the crunch of gravel underfoot. I looked up just in time to see Liam standing near the rock garden, holding a rock in his hand. It was a large stone, roughly the size of a baseball. I could see the predatory gleam in his eyes, the look of a child who was testing boundaries. Liam, no, I shouted, my heart racing. He grinned, pulled his arm back, and hurled the rock with all his strength. I watched in horror as the stone flew through the air, sailing toward the drone. Time seemed to slow. I knew the moment the rock left his hand that this wasn't going to end well. It was a 1-in-a-million shot. If he'd aimed, he would have missed. But it hit. The rock collided with the rotor. There was a sickening crack, followed by the whine of failing motors. The drone jerked violently in the air, and then it began to plummet. I stood frozen, my stomach sinking. The drone crashed to the ground with a deafening thud. The sound of expensive electronics shattering filled the air, followed by the sickening screech of dying motors. Liam cheered. Yes, I got it. I didn't move. My hands were shaking as I looked at the wreckage. The drone lay there, a twisted pile of carbon fiber and broken glass. The sensor, the payload, the rotors, all of it was destroyed. My stomach dropped. Amy stood up, walking over to the wreckage with a look of casual indifference. Well, that's what happens when you show off, she said, shaking her head. Don't look so upset, Jason. It's just a toy. The anger, the rage that had been simmering inside me, finally exploded. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It's not a toy, Amy. That was a $62,000 industrial drone. Do you understand what you just did? Amy shrugged. Oh, relax. We could just buy you a new one. It's not the end of the world. I could feel the heat rising in my face. No, Amy. This isn't something you can just replace. This was my job, my livelihood. And your son just destroyed it. She didn't get it. She didn't get how serious this was. She was too caught up in her own world to understand the consequences of her son's actions. The next few days were a blur. I was in shock. I had to call my supervisor, and then I had to deal with the police. The insurance company needed a police report to process the claim, and without it, I was on the hook for the damages. The legal process was slow, painful, and messy. Amy didn't take the situation seriously at all. She thought I was overreacting, that I was just trying to ruin her life. My parents sided with her, of course. They always did, but this wasn't something I could fix. The company's insurance didn't care about family drama. They cared about the facts, and the fact was that Amy's son had destroyed $62,000 worth of equipment. I had to file a claim. I had to follow the law. The court proceedings were a nightmare. Amy tried to play it off as an accident, but the evidence didn't lie. The police report, the photos, and even a video footage from the drone's memory card showed exactly what had happened. The judge ruled against Amy. She was responsible for the damages, and she had to pay. My parents drained their retirement savings to help her cover the costs, but it wasn't enough. Amy was forced to sell her condo and move back in with them. But the real lesson came for Amy when the insurance company sued her to recover the costs. The company didn't care about her excuses or her sobbing phone calls. They cared about the money. In the end, I got my job back on track, but the relationship with my family was fractured beyond repair. I had done what I had to do, but it had cost me my family. It's been months since that weekend. I moved on. I've been promoted at work, and I've purchased a new drone, a smaller, more consumer-friendly model. But when I flew it the other day, a kid came running up, asking if he could fly it. I smiled, but I didn't let him. I thought about it for a moment and then said, "Sorry, kid. Not today." My family thinks the drone destroyed our relationship. But the truth is, the drone just stripped away the paint to show the rot underneath. Amy raised a child who thought he could break anything without consequences, and she believed she could push the world around her until it bent to her will. But they finally ran into someone that wouldn't bend. And in the end, it was an expensive lesson. I guess, looking at the peace and quiet of my life now, I'd say it was worth every penny.